What's up, guys? This is Johnny Rain with another Gundam Master Grade 1 to 100 review, and this time I'm reviewing the first ever kit that I ever built, the 1 to 100 Qubeley Mark II from Double Zeta Gundam. First off, normally excuse me, normally I don't take a look at the box art, but I must say this box art deserves a look at. This box art for this figure is probably the coolest Master Grade box art on the planet ever seen of all time. Just, if you had a person that didn't know what Gundam was and thought it was lame or whatever, show them this box art and like they're just gonna be like, wow, that's just cool as shit. This is the coolest drawn out box art. I mean, you got the funnels everywhere, and you got the Qubeley Mark II just looking all ridiculous in its badassness. I mean, this is just a great selling point for this kit, and I just wanted to point that out before we get on to the actual model. So let's get to the model. And here we go. This is the Qubeley Mark II, and this specific Qubeley is piloted by Epleo Ple, who is a Cyber New type, who is part of the Axis Zeon led by Haman Khan. Now, and eventually this character does defect and go over to the Argama, but this is the suit that she pilots while she's part of the Zeon. And I believe she keeps it until even when she defects. I don't remember. And I'm sure you're wondering, does this model look as good as it did on the box art? And I think, for the most part, it does. Especially if you get an action base on this guy and you get him in that pose on the box art, he will look just as badass in model form as he did on the box art. Well, let's go over him real quick. He has this dark midnight blue purple color going on. He has pink on his chest, pink in his vents, and on his vents here inside his wing. He has pink in his kneecap, on his feet, and vents on his ankles, his biceps here, and some more vents here. And then he has black for the chest, and his inner frame is kind of a dark gray. And if you get the Zeon decals here, like the instruction says, you add some yellow to the kit and bring him out a little bit more. Now, for a bulky kit, which this guy is, because I can't even get him in the whole camera, if you look at him here, he's as wide as he is tall, if not wider. And that kind of gives you the idea of how wide he is. His wings are just ridiculously wide, and they might be wider than he is tall, I don't know. For articulation, the head's kind of prohibited because of the color here, and also because he has this back head tail, but it does go forwards and back, up and down, no really side to side. Goes left about that far, right about that far. For arm articulation, his arm does go, let's see how far we can get it. Oh, more than 90, no, more than 90 degrees. So that's pretty good for a bulky kit. His shoulder armor goes up that far. His elbow does about a 90 degree, but with this elbow, you can get it to go pretty much anywhere you want. You have a ball joint here for the forearm, and then you have a hinge for the elbow. His fingers are very articulated and very long. He has a hinge on each knuckle, and the thumb is just one flat finger, I guess. But you can get him in some pretty cool poses with these fingers here, which is pretty cool. As you can see here in his wrist, he stores his beam saber. And for his shoulders are together, but they do have joints here that they can be separated. They do lock into place. You don't have to worry about them really coming out all that much. Oops. Joint was coming out. But they do separate. So if you get an action base on this guy, you can get him in his flying pose with his wings out. and his wings go pretty much any direction you can really think of. So that's an added plus. Let me get these wings back together here. And the wings do lock in together, which is good. He has an opening cockpit. If you lift this pink part up here, you have a little tiny hatch down here that opens up, and you see the pilot there, molded in pink. Front skirt does move up and down. It is on I think it's a ball joint. Side skirts don't move at all. They kind of wiggle, that's about it. His foot goes up about that far. His knee can bend a little bit more than 90 degrees, it looks like. Kneecap is independent, so you can move it up and down. The long pointed foot is on a ball joint, and you can get some motion out of it, not a lot. The legs will go out about that far, so together at attention, and you can get like an exaggerated parade rest kind of thing out of them. So for a bigger kit, pretty decently articulated. Now if you look on the back here, you'll notice that the Qubeley has this large backpack backskirt fin here, and that is because he is hiding, or she is hiding, all of her funnels. And all these funnels are independent, they can be pulled out. They are on like ball joint peg things that you kind of slot them in there. And that was probably the most annoying part of this kit, was once you get all the joints in there, you really need to get these guys directly on the joint, because if you miss, the joint goes up into the skirt, and you got to get like tweezers or something, pull the joint out, and try again with the funnel. So if you're not good at getting things in holes, you can make as many jokes as you want now about that comment. This is going to be a pain for you, especially when it's hard to see, because it's kind of there's not a lot of light going in there, so unless you want to shine some in there, that's the most pain in the ass part of this kit. Other than that, this kit's pretty easy build. It was my first model kit, and I wish it wasn't, because there's so many rounded surfaces on this kit that if you're learning how to get nubs off with an X-Acto knife, this is probably the worst kit to learn on. I mean, I have nubs on this kit everywhere, and now that it's a few months later, and I have a couple of models under my belt, and I'm using a lot more sanding techniques to get nubs down, I'm probably going to go back and get rid of some of these nubs that are still left on this guy. There's no panel lining to do. The only panel lining you want to do, and I haven't done yet, are here and here. That's it, really. There's nothing else to be done. He's pretty much flat all over. He has his vents and everything, and those are going to be his details that show up. Now, besides the funnels, the only other weapons you have are his beam sabers. And like I showed before, these do come out. Oops. And I don't know how this looks on camera, but this is actually the like blue, same kind of off blue that he is. He has these, and he also has pink ones. His beam saber is green, has a wider edge at the bottom and a very thin edge at the end. And in the anime, these kind of popped out, and he used them from, he grabbed them and used them. But if you don't want to do that, you can always have him like this, and have him with beam sabers coming out of his wrist, like Wolverine or something. And this beam's kind of warped. I don't know why. Must be Florida heat. Who knows? He also comes with a set of pink, the same hilt but in pink, which I thought was interesting. He also comes with a set of pink funnels instead of the off blue, purple, whatever color he is, funnels. So you get a few choices on this. You also get some extra hands if you don't want to use articulated ones. I haven't taken them off the sprue yet. You have these nice outstretched hands, and you have some nice grasping hands for his swords if you want to use them. As far as the stickers go, the only stickers he has are for his eyes, which I used, and he has some decals. I didn't use a lot of them. I used the Xeon sticker or decal here, and I use the Psychomu system here. You get this really interesting Qubeley Mark II by, well, this is how you spell her name, but apparently it's pronounced Epleo Ple, and you get like a little chibi face thing of her, and it's not focusing, so it's hard to see. And that is supposed to go right in this big leftover section here, but it just looks, it's so cartoony. I don't know, I couldn't use it. And you have a bunch of warning stickers and Qubeley AMX004-2 model numbers you can put on here. And that's really about it for this large kit. You also get a large scale figure of the pilot, which is pretty detailed if you ever want to paint her up and put her next to her mobile suit. It's pretty nice, nicely detailed. The camera's just not wanting to focus here. Anyway. So, what is my final verdict on this kit? Well, difficulty level, if you've never built a Gundam before and you want to build one properly and probably have a better experience building one, build a simpler kit than this. This one's pretty simple because there's a lot of big pieces. But if you're trying to learn how to get nubs off, getting nubs off on rounded pieces is more challenging than getting them off on like a RX-78 Gundam that's all blocky. I'm gonna give this guy a 9.25 out of 10. So 9.25 out of 10. He doesn't get a full 10 out of 10. Oh, I guess for posability in the legs and posability in the head. Box art gives him a bunch of points because that box art's awesome. He's pretty. There's not. I mean, really. Maybe because I'm a stingy pain in the ass and I don't want to give anything a 10 out of 10 unless it blows my mind. This guy, just on looks, should get a 10 out of 10 because no mobile suit is going to look like his. Besides, obviously, the Qubeley Mark I by Haman Khan and the other Qubeley Mark II that's red and yellow, piloted by LPO 2. But this guy he's gonna stand out no matter who you put him next to. I don't care what you put him next to. He's gonna be the eye drawer from whatever you got. Because there's no mobile suit that looks like this. None. Even in the Zeon forces, there's nothing that even comes close to looking like this, in my opinion. So really, I should give him a 10 out of 10 because there's nothing wrong with him. You can pose him. You can even put an action base on this guy and have him flying in the air if you really wanted to. That's probably the best way to display him. And most Gundams typically, or most mobile suits, that's the best way to display him. But this guy specifically, because he has the wings that open up, you get him in a cool flying pose. You get him looking all intimidating. You have his articulated fingers that you can do so much with. And you have these beam sabers that you can just get them coming out of his wrists and slicing stuff up. So, all in all, I'm very pleased with this kit. I love Universal Century, and I love the Qubeley from Zeta, so when I saw this, I picked it up because I love the colors. But I will be getting the other two Qubeleys to go with this guy, most likely. But until then, this is my review on the Qubeley Mark II from Double Zeta Gundam. I hope this review was helpful. If you have any questions or any comments you want to make, go ahead and leave them. And until then, I will see you guys around. Goodbye. And the next thing that will be uploaded, it will be a review of my work in progress, Sinanju Verka. Bye-bye.